who was later pronounced dead.
The first death that kicked off this multi-state mystery.
Inside is Lori Vallow's husband, dead on the living room floor.
What happened today? How did it get to this?
She said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
So how does she pose a threat to your children?
Lori, where are your kids? No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
Now, Lori Daybell appears to be somebody else. She has 2 missing children, J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan.
I don't know what she's going to do with them. I don't know if she's going to flee with them. She's going to hurt them.
All right, is this house or the one with the flashing lights?
Right there.
Imagine this. You're married to someone you thought you knew inside out. The kind of person who's always been the rock of the family, devoted parent, steady provider. Then, one day, they come home ranting about being a god, about evil spirits possessing bodies, about the end of the world crashing down next year. Your kids are caught in the middle, and suddenly you're locked out of your own house, heart pounding, dialing 911 because nothing makes sense anymore. This isn't some horror movie plot. It's the real-life nightmare that Charles Vallow faced in 2019, a story that spiraled into murder, missing children, and a twisted cult obsession. What started as a marital rift exploded into a multi-state mystery, leaving bodies in its wake and questions that still haunt us. How does a Mother of the Year become a monster? It all began on January 31st, 2019, in Chandler, Arizona. Charles had just returned from a business trip, eager to hug his kids, 6.5-year-old JJ and 16-year-old Tylee. But as he approached his front door, his key wouldn't turn. The house was dark, silent. His wife, Lori Vallow, was nowhere to be found. Worse, his car was gone, and a hefty chunk of cash had vanished from his bank account. Panic set in. He called 911, his voice trembling with confusion and fear. "She's lost her mind," Charles told the dispatcher. "She thinks she's a resurrected being and a god. She talks about the 144,000, says Jesus is coming next year." He described Lori's threats. "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are or what you did with him, but I can murder you now with my powers." The operator pressed for details. "She threatened to murder you?" "Yes," Charles confirmed, his words heavy with dread. This wasn't sudden. It had been building for 4 or 5 years, but lately, it had escalated. Lori spent hours at the temple, claiming conversations with Moroni and Jesus Christ. To her, Charles was no longer himself. He was Nick Schneider, an evil spirit that had hijacked his body. Friends who knew Lori from her days as a beauty contestant couldn't believe the transformation. She was like Mother of the Year, they'd say, always put together, fiercely protective of her kids. But now, she was deep into the teachings of Chad Daybell, a doomsday author whose books painted vivid pictures of the apocalypse, evil spirits, and zombies, humans possessed by darkness. Both Lori and Chad were part of Preparing a People, a group fixated on the second coming of Christ and the end of the world. Lori believed she was one of the elite 144,000, chosen to spread the everlasting gospel. Everyone, in her eyes, fell on a scale from light to dark. The darker you were, the more you threatened her divine mission. Charles wasn't just scared for himself. He feared for JJ and Tylee. "I don't know what she's going to do with them," he admitted to police. Flee with them? Hurt them? Desperate, he obtained a pickup order to retrieve the kids. With officers' help, he entered the house that night, but it was empty. Lori and the children had vanished. The next morning, Charles tracked them to a hotel in Gilbert. He'd secured an emergency mental health petition, hoping to force Lori into evaluation. At JJ's school, he spotted her car and swiped her purse from inside, stalling her escape. Lori marched into the police station, purse reported stolen, spinning her own tale. She caught Charles cheating, kicked him out, taking his car as payback. "He's mad," she said coolly, her demeanor eerily composed. Police brokered a deal. Charles returns the purse. They serve the petition. Lori underwent assessment, but after 2 hours, doctors released her. No issues detected. That decision sealed Charles's fate and endangered the kids. He filed for divorce. But 6 months later, on July 11, 2019, his body lay lifeless on Lori's living room floor, 2 gunshot wounds tearing through it. The shooter? Alex Cox, Lori's brother. He called 911 around 8:45 a.m., voice steady. He came at me with a bat. Alex claimed self-defense. Charles had arrived to pick up JJ, but things turned ugly. According to Alex, Charles argued with Lori, got physical. Tylee grabbed a bat to defend her mom. Charles snatched it, swung at Alex. Alex retreated to his room, grabbed his gun. I always carry it, and fired. But the story cracked under scrutiny. Why shoot twice? Once when Charles was already down. Why wait 45 minutes to call 911? Alex's answers were vague. I don't know. We were in shock. Interrogations revealed more. Lori painted Charles as abusive. He's gone nuts on us lots of times. Grabbed us, pushed us. She'd endured 14 years of his temper. She said, staying for JJ's sake. He had special needs. Tylee corroborated. He was screaming, grab the bat from me. I heard a noise like something hitting the floor hard. Yet Charles's ex-wife, Cheryl, insisted otherwise. Not once was he ever physically threatening. No history of violence. A friend later revealed Alex believed Lori's delusions. Charles as a possessed zombie. He'd moved in to protect her, convinced Charles planned to kill her. Detectives ruled it self-defense, but doubts lingered. This was no isolated incident. Lori's world was unraveling, tangled in Chad Daybell's cult. Chad married himself, preached about multiple lives, dark spirits, and eliminating threats to the light. Lori saw Charles as dark, expendable. Then, the unthinkable, JJ and Tylee disappeared. For months after Charles's death, they were gone. Lori's stonewalled questions. No comment. Police raids found nothing. Lori fled to Idaho with Chad. His wife, Tammy, conveniently dead from natural causes weeks earlier. Suspicion mounted. In June 2020, authorities unearthed the children's remains on Chad's property. JJ, bound and gagged. Tylee, burned and dismembered. Horror gripped the nation. Lori and Chad faced murder charges. Their defense? A bizarre theology where death freed possessed souls. Lori's descent wasn't overnight. Once vibrant, she'd lost a brother young, endured failed marriages. Chad's words filled voids, promising purpose in chaos. But at what cost? Friends whispered of her charisma turning cult-like, gathering saints for Armageddon. Trials revealed more. Alex died suspiciously in December 2019. Heart attack ruled, but whispers of poison. Lori's texts exposed plots, zombies to eliminate. Today, Lori serves life without parole, Chad on death row. Yet questions echo. How did faith twist into fanaticism? What drives a mother to destroy her own? This story warns us. Darkness hides in plain sight, even in those we love most. Charles sensed it, fought it, but paid the ultimate price. In a world of hidden fractures, who's truly safe?